Hello everyone, welcome to English for You. In this video, we will be discussing the questions from the evening shift of UGC NET exam October 2020 of English literature. We hope this will be helpful for you in your preparation. So, let's begin. Question number 1. Nice day again, isn't it? This sentence is an example of option number 1. Code switching, 2. Multiple negation, 3. Fatigue communication, 4. Nominalization. Now let's see. Code switching or language alternation, as we know, occurs when a speaker alternates two or more languages or language varieties in the context of a single conversation. This usually occurs when multilinguals or the speakers of more than one language engage in a conversation. As for option number 2, multiple negation, it refers to the occurrence of more than one negative in a clause. Coming to option number 3, fatigue communication, it denotes or relates to language used for general purposes of social interaction rather than to convey any information. This is a term coined by Malinowski in 1923 from the Greek term phatos, which means spoken or that which can be spoken. You may refer to fatigue communication as small talk in a general conversation. Option number 4, nominalization. It's the process of making a noun from a verb or adjective, or the use of a word which is not a noun. The word can be a verb, adverb, or adjective as a noun. For example, the formation of the noun applicability from the adjective applicable. So it's clear that the answer for the first question is option number 3, fatigue communication. In question number 2, we have to match the critics with their respective essays. We have critics Elsie Knights, Lionel Trilling, Matthew Arnold, and A.C. Bradley, and essays The Study of Poetry, Restoration Comedy, The Reality and the Myth, Poetry for Poetry's Sake, and The Sense of the Past. Elsie Knights is famous for his essays on Shakespeare and his spirit. His essay, How Many Children Had Lady Macbeth, 1933, is a classic of modern criticism. The essay, Restoration Comedy, The Reality and Myth, is included in his collection Explorations, which is a collection of essays on criticism mainly on the literature of the 17th century and is published in 1946. Lionel Trilling is an American literary critic, short story writer, and essayist. His critical works are mostly based on historicism. In his essay, The Sense of the Past, he asserts that all literature must depict a historical study as literature is a historical act. According to him, a writer must also be a historian, a true chronicler of time. Matthew Arnold, in the essay The Study of Poetry, is fundamentally concerned with poetry's high destiny. He believes that mankind will discover that we have to turn to poetry to interpret life for us, to console us and to sustain us, as science and philosophy will eventually prove flimsy and unstable. In this essay, he famously said Chaucer lacked high seriousness. He also introduced the touchstone method. He recommends that the modern poets or modern works should be judged by the touchstone of ancient classics. Homer, Virgil, Dante, Sophocles among the ancient Greek and Roman poets, and Shakespeare and Milton among the English poets may be taken as models for judging the order of excellence in a modern poet or a work. The Study of Poetry was originally published as the introduction to T.H. Watt's anthology, The English Poets, in 1880 and later appeared in The Essay in Criticism. Poetry for Poetry's Sake, an inaugural lecture delivered on June 5, 1901 is by A.C. Bradley. So, the right answer for question 2 is option number 3, A2, B4, C1, D3. Question number 3. Which two of the following are interludes in John Galsworthy's The Forsyte Saga 1922? A. To Let, B. Indian Summer of a Forsyte, C. Awakening, D. In Chancery. Option number 1. A and B only, 2. A and C only, 3. B and C only, 4. B and G only. The Forsyte Saga is a series of 3 novels and 2 interludes published between 1906 and 1921 by John Galsworthy. The order of publication goes like this: The Man of Property in 1906, Indian Summer of a Forsyte in 1918, In Chancery in 1920, Awakening again in 1920, and To Let in 1921. Indian Summer of a Forsyte and Awakening are the 2 interludes in the Forsyte Saga by John Galsworthy. So, the right answer for this question is option 3, B and C only. Question number 4. Who among the following drew attention to the role of print languages in enabling the rise and spread of nationalism? Option number 1. Ernest Kellner, 2. Charles Jenks, 3. Benedict Anderson, 4. Frederick Jameson. According to political scientist and historian Benedict Anderson in his book Imagined Communities, Reflections on the Origin and Spread of Nationalism, the main causes of nationalism are increasing importance of mass vernacular literacy and the emergence of printing press capitalism. According to him, the very existence and regularity of newspapers caused readers and thus citizens in the making to imagine themselves residing in a common time and space, united by a print language with a league of anonymous equals. So, the right answer to this question is option number 3, Benedict Anderson. Coming to question number 5, arrange the following novels in the chronological order of publication. A. The White Tiger, B. A Tiger of Malgudi, C. A Suitable Boy, D. Heat and Dust. Option number 1, D, B, C, A, 2, B, D, C, A, 3, B, C, A, D, 4, B, C, D, A. Heat and Dust is a 1975 novel by Ruth Pravar Jabwala. It won the Booker Prize in the same year. A Tiger of Malgudi, which was published in 1983 as a novel by R.K. Narayan. A Suitable Boy, 1993 as a novel by Vikram Seth. The White Tiger, which is the debut novel of Aravind Tadiga, was published in 2008 and it won the Man Booker Prize in the same year. So the chronological order is Heat and Dust in 1975, A Tiger of Malgudi in 1983, A Suitable Boy in 1993, The White Tiger in 2008. The right option is option number 1, D, B, C, A. Question number 6. Who wrote the essay Naipaul's India and Mine in 1984 as a reply to V.S. Naipaul's An Area of Darkness? Options 1. A.K. Ramanujan, 2. Nissim Ezekiel, 3. Nayantara Sahgal, 4. Mahesh Dattani. Nissim Ezekiel, who gave a reply to the pessimistic views of V.S. Naipaul in An Area of Darkness. In his classic review of An Area of Darkness, Naipaul's India and Mine. Question number 7. In which act of William Congreve's The Way of the World does the proviso scene between Mirabell and Millamant take place? Option number 1, Act 1, 2, Act 2, 3, Act 3, 4, Act 4. The Way of the World, which is considered as one of the best restoration comedies, was premiered in 1700. It is centered on two lovers, Mirabell and Millamant. It has got 5 acts. Act 4 is the proviso scene of The Way of the World, in which Mirabell and Millamant meet together to come to an agreement about their marriage. The most noteworthy aspect of the scene is Milaman's witty style of putting forward her conditions before her lover. She wants equal amount of love and affection from him even after marriage. Congreve portrays the pitiable condition of women at that period. She informs him that she wants her liberty and independence to continue after marriage. She also adds that she shouldn't be addressed as sweetheart, jewel, wife or spouse. Both should continue to have a personal space. On the other hand, Nilamand asks her not to be in company of any notorious woman and to abstain from using any artificial means to cover her appearance. Though the scene appears to be funny, it has got ample amount of social criticism. So the right answer to this question is option number 4, Act 4. In question number 8, we are given two statements. Statement number 1, the Education Commission 1964 to 66 recommended the removal of English as a medium of instruction at the college level. Statement number 2, English is still largely the language of administration and jurisprudence in India. In the light of the above statements, choose correct answer from the options given below. Option number 1, both statement 1 and 2 are true. 2, both are false. 3, 1 is correct and 2 is false. 4, 1 is incorrect and 2 is true. When we look at the Education Commission 1964 to 1966, it's popularly known as Kathari Commission, and it was an ad hoc commission set up by Government of India to examine all aspects of educational sector in India and to evolve a general pattern of education and to make policies for the development of education in India. The main recommendations of this commission were the 10 plus 2 plus 3 system of education. It modified the 3-language formula recommended by the Universities Grants Commission. It recommended for education of women and vocational education. It also recommended the formulation of a national education policy. So, we can see it never recommended for the removal of English as a medium of education at the college level. And from our experience, we know that English is still the language of administration in India. So, we can say that the statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct, which means the right answer to this question is option 4. In the 9th question, we are supposed to match the metaphysical poets to their respective poems. Metaphysical poets were a group of 17th century poets known for the use of figurative language, the way of organizing a meditative process, or the poetic argument. It's Samuel Johnson who has coined the term the metaphysical poets in his Life of Cowley. John Dryden, in his Discourse Concerning Satire in 1693, said John Donne in his writing affects metaphysics. Here we are given John Donne, Andrew Marvell, George Herbert, Henry Vaughan, and their poems The Retreat, A Valediction of Weeping, The Garden, and The Caller. A Valediction of Weeping is a poem by John Donne. The Garden is a poem by Andrew Marvell. It's George Herbert who has written The Caller, and The Retreat is a poem by Henry Vaughan. So, the right answer to this question is option number 4, A2, B3, C4 and D1. In the next question, we are supposed to match certain terms with the theorists who have coined them. We are given heteroglossia, heterotopia, grand narrative and interpolation. And as theorists, we have Foucault, Althusser, Mikhail Bakhtin and Lyotard. The term heteroglossia refers to the coexistence of distinct varieties within a single language. The term was introduced by Mikhail Bakhtin in his 1934 paper, which was later published in English as Discourse in the Novel. According to him, it is the convergence in language or speech of specific points of view on the world. Forms for conceptualizing the world in words. Specific worldviews, each characterized by its own objects, meanings, and values. Heterotopia is a concept elaborated by Foucault to refer to the spaces that are considered as the other. It may refer to the cultural, constitutional, or discursive spaces like brothel, prison, or cemetery. Interpellation in Marxist theory is an important concept regarding the notion of ideology. It was coined by Louis Althusser in his Ideology and Ideological State Apparatus, Notes Towards an Investigation. According to him, every society is made up of ideological state apparatus and repressive state apparatus. Interpellation is the process by which ideology embodied in major social and political institutions constitute the nature of individual subjects through the process of hailing them in social interactions. Grand narrative is a term coined by Lyotard in his postmodern condition. So, the answer to this question goes like this. Heteroglossia was coined by Bakhtin, Heterotopia by Foucault, Grand narrative by Lyotard, and interpellation by Louis Althusser. So, the right option is option 3, A3, B1, C4, and D2. With that, we come to the end of this video. Please stay tuned to English Folio for the rest of the videos in this series. Thank you and have a good time.